Senator Whelan, you have 8 minutes.
Thanks very much, Cathaoirleach. And at the outset, I want to sincerely thank Minister Deenihan for coming in here to the House to have a good constructive debate around the whole issue of the proposed new bylaws for the canals and the Waterways Ireland proposed corporate development plan. I want to thank him for doing it in a timely fashion because it gives us an opportunity to feed into the process rather than discussing it when it's too late, when the horse is bolted, if you like. And I want to commend him for that because we haven't been afforded that facility by every minister. And Minister Deenihan is a man who has shown that he is a listening minister, does respond and engage. For instance, I think the turf cutting situation that was a vexed issue across the country is a good example and a good template of where, you know, there were problems and there were issues, but he met people and met them halfway. And so that's what I'm appealing to him today to do. I'd like to welcome the representatives of Waterways Ireland, who I know are well-intentioned and well-meaning and their heart's in the right place, and they have done great work with the canals. They brought the canals back from a disastrous situation where many of them were dumping grounds. I'd also want to put on the record, I'd like to welcome here today the representatives from Inland Waterways Association, led by their president, Carmel Meegan. And what I'm trying to do here today is to get both sides to meet somewhere in the middle of the water and to parley, because laws and regulations and rules, that are seen to be unfair, that are seen to be and are unfair and unjust and draconian and harsh, will not work because they won't have any public acceptance. And I'm asking the Minister today to make a policy intervention, to leave a legacy that he and the government can be proud of in relation to the management and use of the canals and our inland waterways. Because the waterways and the canals in particular have been the poor relation of, if you like, our waterways history. Because in 1958, the then CIE Act, passed by another government, imparted devastating damage to the canal system, from which it has never really recovered. It resulted in the tearing up of the canal network, of the filling in. Can you imagine the barbarity of it, the vandalism of it, to fill in canals? We will never be able to replace them. We will never be able to recover them. The canal spur from the town I grew up in, from Monastrevin to Portarlington and Mount Mellick, is gone and lost forever and filled in. All that remains are the ruins of the bridges and the ruins of the warehouses in the harbour in Mount Mellick. I'm saying, Minister, these bylaws, as proposed, have the capacity and ability to impose the same damage on the canal system if we don't pull back from them. That decision in 1958 did untold damage, and as a result we have lost to this country and our heritage and our tourist resource an amenity that can never be recovered if we were to set about trying to do it today. So what I'm saying, Minister, is this. I'm not appealing to you on behalf solely of the 100 or so people who live on their boats. I'm not appealing solely on behalf of the 700 or so boat users who navigate the Grand Royal Canal and the Barrow Way. I'm not appealing to you solely on behalf of the 2,100 individual submissions that were made to Waterways Ireland in the short 3-week space that we were given. I'm appealing to you, Minister, on behalf of the 70 communities across the Midlands and across the country that rely on and require a vibrant canal network in order to flourish, so as that boats can continue to use the canal. The bylaws as proposed, Minister, will drive boats off the canal. It will deter tourists. It will deter people hiring boats. It will deter people investing in hire companies. It will deter the small businesses that spring up around the canals. In 70 towns and communities across the regions and rural Ireland that are crying out to build and develop a fledgling tourist industry. Where I'm come from, Minister, is not as popular as Kerry, your own port, in terms of attracting tourists. We're grasping at straws and small amenities and facilities to bring people in to towns like Tullamore and Edenderry and Vickerstown and Athy and Monasterevin, where I grew up, on the canal, with the River Barrow and the famous aqueduct. This is an issue that's near and dear to my heart, Minister. We enjoyed many a great day fishing on the canal, indeed swimming in the canal, and waiting for the barges to come down to Moore's Loch. Now, what I'm saying, Minister, is this: we need to encourage access, not deter it. Now, I accept that the bylaws haven't been changed since 1986, but that's not the fault of the boat users, or it's not the fault of Inland Waterways, who are essentially the people who are keeping the canal alive and flourishing, in concert with Waterways Ireland. We should be all singing off the same hymn sheet instead of being at odds about this. What I'm saying to you, Minister, is there any walk of life, or any business, or any leisure activity that could bear a tenfold increase in the charges? No one could. My colleague Senator John Kelly, who along with myself called for this debate, will deal with the issue of people living on the boats. But, Minister, the irony of it, in the week that the government published a plan to tackle homelessness, we're going to put people on the side of the road. We have a situation, Minister, where you cannot in one go catch up for 25 years of the bylaws and next minute increase charges and levies and fees to the power of 10. Sure, no one in their right mind would use the canal, Minister. And this just doesn't apply to the navigation. It applies to the mooring charges, to the houseboats, and even to the dry dock. If you want to take your barge out to repair it and maintain it, the charges that you would accrue over the period of time of the few months that it would take to repair the boat, in some instances, would cost more than the boat itself is worth. How can that be in the interest of developing? Thank you very much, Cairloch. This is not just a parochial issue, although I have been contacted and inundated with representations from Sallins and Robertstown and Tullamore and all over the place. And I'll just read you this from Jerry Feary from the Ballycommon Canal Renewal Group, Minister. It is not equitable to penalise users of the canals with high charges when they do not exist on other waterways. This is the problem. It will drive people off the canals. And one of the submissions the Waterways Ireland received from as far away, Minister, as the Dutch Barge Owners Association, who say that this will make the canals it will restrict access and make the canals less appealing to visitors from Europe. In fact, Minister, I'd go so far as to say this would not happen in the UK or in Holland or in Poland. They'd be encouraging people to use them, not deterring them and trying to levy them with fees that are just unbearable. I'll take a line from the leaf of Senator Norris, who pointed out that it's not Monte Carlo we're dealing with, and he's right, it's Monasterevin. And let's now get grounded. And the people who use the canals are people of frugal means, and the services and facilities are Spartan, to say the least, in many, many places. I commend Waterways Ireland for the work and investment. I commend the Minister. Thank you, Cairloch. I'll finish now. I genuinely want to thank the Minister for coming in here before he signs these draconian proposed bylaws into law, because we still have time for common sense to prevail, so as we can work together to make sure that the canals can flourish and thrive into the future. Otherwise, we'll do untold damage, and that would be to no one's benefit, Minister. Thank you.